Okay, quadratic formula, which is section 5.6. At the end of class yesterday, we talked about there are certain ways to solve quadratics. Some of them we want to use some of the time. Some of them we can use every single time. This happens to be one of the ways that will work every single time if you want to crunch the numbers. It'll work every time, okay? Very tedious because there's a formula involved. To my knowledge, and I'd really have to look at the formula sheet, I would know this formula by heart. I will look later to see if you have to be. This may not be one of those formulas that you have to memorize, but the quadratic formula is this. X is equal to, because we're solving for those solutions, those x-intercepts, those roots, those zeros. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of that over 2a. That's the quadratic formula, okay? Where does the a, the b, the c come from? Where ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Notice that your leading coefficient is your a value. That middle term, that coefficient of your x term is your b. And then your constant, the number that's by itself, is your c term. Folks, this is nothing more than memorizing a formula and plugging into a formula. That's all. Okay? There is a twist at the end that I will show you, but and I made reference to it earlier today in class. That just, it helps you describe what the parabolas will look like, okay? But we'll go over that later. We use quadratic formula when a quadratic can't be factored, okay? Use the quadratic formula when you don't have your graphing calculator. Graphing calculator to graph. Or when you don't, when the quadratic cannot be factored. But the thing to remember, it will always, always, always work. And always means always. 100% of the time, you can use the quadratic formula for every single quadratic equation I give you, and you can get the solutions. It may take you a little while, but it would work. Okay? Even with the calculator, folks, and you've seen in class, sometimes you don't hit the right buttons. And you go, but my calculator has this, and that's not what your calculator looks like. Well, that's called human error. Anytime we got a human on the end of technology, there's an error somewhere, okay? Or there can be. So just keep that in mind. But you use the quadratic formula when you don't have that graphing calculator and when something can't be factored. But it'll always work. This is always the last resort. Y'all don't ever want to do this. No students want to go to the quadratic formula because you're like, I got to remember the formula. You don't want to remember the formula. It's easy. Very easy, okay? Some things that we need to remember. Look back at that. If I can get it up there. Come on. Oh, great. Oh, it's going to let me do it. No. That's hurt it all. There we go. Quadratic formula, folks. Look what A, B, and C. Notice that your quadratic formula is already equal to what number? 0, okay? So let's always make sure. Make sure that your quadratic equation equals 0, okay? If you're equal to 0, then you're good to go. So let's do something very simple. Let's solve x squared minus 10x plus 24 equals 0. And we're going to pretend that we don't know that this has two factors of 6 and 4, and that we know that the solutions are going to be 6 and 4, okay? Because that can be factored, right? We already know, looking at it, that I can factor it and go, signs are the same, 2 factors 24, that when I add, give me 10, 6 and 4, x minus 6, x minus 4, ooh, my zeros are 4 and 6, right? We already know that's going to be, or you should already be able to do that, okay? But you ought to be able to look at it and go, why do I have to use quadratic formula? Well, number one, you're learning about the quadratic formula. Number two, you need to know how to use it, okay? Write the formula every time. What? Write the formula every time. Why? It's because the more you write it, the quicker you'll learn it. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of that over 2a. Okay? Folks, what is your a? Always come over here to the side. A, there's nothing there. It must be 0. Wrong. It's 1. And don't let me fool you. What's my b value? What's the coefficient of my middle term, my x term? Negative 10. Be careful there, okay? Be mindful of your signs. And c is 24. Holy big numbers. Fun times. Fun times. Guys, negative. That negative in front of the b stays there. Do y'all remember this from Algebra 1? Yeah, okay. You should. Negative, what's your b value? Negative 10, isn't it? Plus or minus, square root of. Negative 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times 24. Really? Okay, there. You guys agree? See where all my numbers are coming from. Don't forget 2 times 1 as my denominator. Folks, if you don't start good habits now, it's going to be awful. Please create good habits with this. What's double negative? Negative, negative 10. Positive 10. Plus or minus. In your calculators, don't you dare tell me that negative 10 squared is negative 100. I may accidentally fall into you with my elbow. Don't you dare tell me. But my calculator told me. But you know that negative 10 times negative 10 is what? Positive 100. Negative 4, be real careful. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 24, is that negative 96? Minus 96 over 2 times 1 is 2. Everybody with me so far? Yep. I know the work gets on your nerves, but it's not difficult. Just do it. Suck it up. Do it. We're not done. Keep simplifying. 10 plus or minus. What's 100 minus 96? 4 over 2. Oh, this is getting easier now. 10 plus or minus who? 2. Plain old 2. And then what can happen? Then I can break it into two different pieces. All right, here we go. X can equal 10 plus 2 over 2, or it can be 10 minus 2 over 2. Do you guys agree with that? Do you see where all my numbers are coming from? 12 over 2, which is 6. Didn't I say that earlier? 10 minus 2 is 8 divided by 2, which is 4. Could we put this in our calculator to check it? Heck yes. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you check it? Guys, when you get to any test, Thursday, when you get to any quiz, SOL test, what's the first thing I want you to go to? No. I want you to go to your calculator. You have to know how to do this stuff. But if you don't check it with your calculator, you're crazy. Why wouldn't you check it with your calculator? Okay? My solutions are 4 and 6. Facile or difficile? Put it in your calculator. Just put it in your calculator. X squared, y equals x squared minus 10x plus 24. Graph it. Look at your parabola. Does it cross at 4 and 6? Yep. Okay. Check those values or check your zeros. But that's the way you can check it every single time. This ought to be this is like legal cheating. It really is. Because you got your calculator right there. If cheating could be legal, this is when you could. This is when none of you get tickets. Okay. Here's another one. Any questions? Does this ring a bell at all for y'all? Some of you yes, some of you no. Here we go. Here's another one. Let's take it a step farther. How about this? 4y squared plus 4y plus 1 equals 0. Is my equation where it needs to be right now? Is it set equal to 0? Yeah, I'm good to go. Can I go on and start and choose my A, B, and C? Yeah? What is